In 1941, Ireland was officially neutral in World War II, but when Belfast got bombed by the Nazis, Ireland broke neutrality, sent all their fire engines across the border, and helped their British enemies fight the fires, then went right back to being neutral the next day like nothing happened. Here's what makes this story wild. Ireland and Britain were barely on speaking terms. Irish independence was only 19 years old. There was still massive resentment over centuries of British rule. And yet when Belfast burned, Dublin's fire brigade drove 100 miles north to save a British city. On the night of April 15, 1941, the Luftwaffe dropped 200 tons of bombs on Belfast in what became known as the Belfast Blitz, killing over 900 people in one night, more than died in any single bombing raid on London. Belfast's infrastructure was completely overwhelmed. Fires were raging out of control across the city, and the local fire services couldn't handle it. At 2 a.m., someone made a phone call from Belfast to Dublin asking for help, and the decision reached the Irish government. Send fire engines to help Britain, the country they'd fought a war of independence against 20 years earlier, or let a city 100 miles away burn with thousands of civilians trapped. Within hours, 13 fire engines from Dublin, Doon Laoghaire, Drogheda, and Dundalk crossed the border into Northern Ireland, technically British territory, breaking Ireland's official neutrality policy. Irish firefighters spent 15 hours fighting fires in Belfast alongside British crews, saving countless lives, pulling people from collapsed buildings, and battling blazes that had engulfed entire neighborhoods. Then, when the fires were out and the sun came up, they drove back across the border to Ireland, and both governments pretended it never happened. There's barely any official record of it because acknowledging it would have compromised Ireland's neutrality and caused political chaos. Here's why this moment is so loaded. Northern Ireland was still part of Britain, and many Irish Republicans saw Belfast as occupied Irish territory that should be part of a united Ireland. The Irish government could have said, "That's Britain's problem, they're at war, we're neutral." And most of Ireland would have understood. But they didn't. They sent help because it was the right thing to do, even for their historical enemy, even if it meant risking their neutral status. And it wasn't just the government. Individual Irish firefighters volunteered to cross that border, knowing they were going into an active war zone where German bombers could return any second. Some reports say that when the Irish fire engines rolled into Belfast at 3 a.m., British soldiers,